Hello, all. Are there any agenda items except for just going over the open PRs? Anybody that has any particular agenda items they want to discuss?
Maybe Felix is here, we can discuss how we could have a contribution model supported with the new process when a team wants to review PRs.
Okay, shall we start with that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, I don't have any or not much context on this, so maybe Felix, you want to quickly explain?
Yeah, so in the end,
proposal?
we have a small team operating Bosch in our environments, and the idea for contributions would be that from time to time they might also review a PR and work on those things, even if right now there's not the capacity. But prospectively, if I understand it correctly, like we would need to reflect this anyway in the model or in the governance, right?
I think the idea of the governance structure is that people are like named, so they get a role assigned to a person independently of the company they work at.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think it would be possible to swap out some people for people that have more time or something. I mean, I think that would be an option.
Okay, understood. So basically the requirement is that we have named individuals. Whether they are in the team of a specific company or not does not matter at all, right? But
yeah, no,
like they need to be well known, and then we could find a way how to get them as an approver, for example, and then they could do it.
Yeah, I mean, the process is pretty simple. It's just creating a PR against a community repo, and then that needs to be approved by the TOC members. I think we can maybe endorse it like as a group vote for, but I'm not really sure on that because we have only had the initial setup and not like we haven't gone through this process specifically. But yeah, all the discussion would happen on that PR. And I don't see, I mean, extending or growing our pool of reviewers, I think is only a good thing if they have the ability to also contribute a bit of time.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, Felix, do you want to take an action item to like look into that, or is it not that concrete yet?
It's not yet that
okay.
It's not yet that concrete. So as I said, capacity is not there right now, and we need to see how that develops. And but at that point in time, we can rediscuss for the details or just provide names. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And more specifically about, like, I think you and Kai are both reviewers currently, but are having not enough time. I heard to do that. Would you like to revoke your reviewer role, or I don't know, maybe we can pause it, or I don't know what that process looks like, but or do you envision in the near future or to have more time spent on this?
So yeah, for Kai, I think so he will leave the team. So I guess revoking makes sense here, and for myself, we can talk about pausing. Yes.
Okay.
But regarding Kai, I would trigger him that he can directly contact you. I think that makes sense. And
yeah, that works. Okay. Let's continue with the open PRs. We have a bump to Ruby Bomb. Did everybody see that we have a Jammy stem cell on Bosch.io?
Yes.
For people that have missed it, for the people watching from home later, we
That's
have
great.
a Jammy stem cell. Thanks all for the contributions. This was really a team effort, and we're still not there, but yeah, it's great to have this. And there was already were already some people in the community that started using it and trying out compatibility with certain Bosch releases. I heard about the Nginx release, which was incompatible. I think Kanye is working on fixing that, and also something with the Prometheus Bosch release. So people are trying this out with the non-critical things, I guess. But that's good.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I'm just seeing that the version sort of like format has changed as well. Are we using Semver now?
I think we are doing that. Bionic. This is just a 0.
Yes, so I
It's an
tried
alpha
to,
release, I guess.
what I did is for Bionic, we have the 1x line, and if there is a major change, it will change to the 2x. And from then on, it will just basically do a minor version bump. And for Jammy, because it's alpha, I did even a patch bump, just so that people see, because once we go to beta, we can still keep it on 0, but we can basically do 0, 1 x.
Makes perfectly sense. I think we could bump to 0, 1 when Bosch directory is running on the stem cell, maybe.
No, I want to go to 0, 1 so for beta, once Jammy is officially live, because then there is basically a stop of, so I think 3 weeks before Jammy is officially released, they do like a complete stop of all development and all package updates. And from then on, you can basically say, okay, this is going to be the final release of Jammy when they're going to release Jammy. And then we can say, okay, this is a beta of it, and we can do 0, 1, something.
Okay. And is it based on Impish for the moment?
No. Everything is based on Jammy now.
Oh,
so
Jammy is the Jammy branch is already open on Ubuntu side.
Yes, since the end of November, beginning of December somewhere.
Yeah, there's also already Jammy like Docker images and stuff.
Yeah,
like developer versions. So
nice.
So it is getting closer to the final results. And it is getting closer by just like our pipelines consume the latest thing, right, from Canonical. So the changes should be less and less. So.
The other thing I'd like to say is that I think on one hand, I think that's awesome because we've had so many feedbacks in the past as saying that the stem cells were not following Semver. So it was hard to sort of build tools, you know, on CI or automation that would just like understand what's a patch, what's a breaking change. So on one hand, I think that's cool. On the other hand, I think like most of the vendors that are sort of a packaging cloud foundry, they sort of are settled on this format. So I'm not saying that we should change it. I personally think that we should try to keep Semver and see how this goes, but I would expect some pushback in the future of some vendors saying, oh no, like my systems, you know, stopped working because now there are 3 GDIDs, things like that.
Yeah, I was expecting that for Bionic already, and I have not had one single instance of it. So I don't think, I don't foresee any issues in it, but yeah, we can still, if someone is complaining about it, we can try to help them. But
I think this is also the first time we're doing an alpha of a stem cell, right?
Yeah.
Usually
And we also
lagging
now
a bit.
just basically doing the BOSH, because that's the most important thing here, is that we always keep up with the latest BOSH agent. So every stem cell is now on its latest BOSH agent. And this is also an experiment for Bionic to see if people will get twitchy about this, but
Yeah.
we haven't seen any, they don't even pay attention to it. So
I mean, the way it's built right now, it's even unclear what patch and minor what would even be the difference, right? Because for consuming security fixes, all packages are just bumped. So it could be minor change or it could be a patch change. It's hard to derive or distinguish.
well, yeah, everything is in the release notes now. So we really try to keep good track of all the release notes, because most of it is automated, of which package changes, which fixes has been done. So I hope we can do it more rigorous, but I hope it's enough for most of the people.
Because of Jemmy, everything in our ecosystem needs to bump to Ruby 3.1. Because of Jemmy has an OpenSSL, ships OpenSSL 3, which is only compatible with Ruby 3.1. Maybe it will be compatible with older versions, but I don't know. It hasn't been backported yet. Support for 3. OpenSSL 3. So yeah, that's where this pull request comes from. It's for the AWS CPI. I think there's also work in progress for the BOSH director to update. This one just needs approval from Benjamin or Long. And we can go ahead with this one, merge it. The remove registry still in flight. I think this one is waiting. Yeah, Konstantin has made the changes as requested by
Benjamin.
So maybe Benjamin, you could like look at this and sign off on it if it's okay. And there were some additional suggestions which I think would maybe be a good idea to create an RFC for, because that apparently is what the process is now for bigger changes. So here's, for example, the RFC for the Jemmy jellyfish. The RFC process just took a long time to get finalized. So this RFC is not merged yet, but we already have a Jemmy stem cell, so it's lagging. Doesn't matter. It's a good example of the process.
I saw other people already commenting, already notifying other people about this, like, oh, hey, they're already going to work on Jemmy for CF.
Yeah, it's done.
It's cool that people are involved in it. I thought there would be less traction for it.
And what about the CF stack? Are there, do you know any plans for a CF stack based on Jemmy?
So the last time for Bionic, when we did the beta releases, they were already putting it in their pipeline and were already basically trying it out. And
but it's all here. To come back to the question, here, it's here. So there's who owns this and when the target start time is to work on this. So this contains it. Yeah, so this is not only about the stem cell, it's about all the changes required in the whole ecosystem.
Nice.
With dates when that needs to be done. It also includes some notes about when to deprecate the Bionic stop the Bionic support. Yeah, I mean, this is still waiting for that PR to be merged. This PR is waiting for
Change request by Benjamin. I think they're already done. So Benjamin, you just need to recheck.
Okay, so we're basically just waiting for a recheck from Benjamin, and then we can merge this one.
Also, Ramon was another review of the PR. Maybe I don't know, Ramon, whether you want to check
yeah,
again.
But it got every time it got, because I accepted it already, because he did. It's now about the commits, and he changed all of that. He put really effort in it. So for me, it works and it looks good to me. And I'm not going to nitpick now about someone who put a lot of effort in it about how the commits are now looking, because that's ridiculous. This guy puts a lot of effort in.
Yes, yes. The logic didn't change. He just reorganized the commits and
Okay.
Yeah,
and
so-
clean up some stuff. Yeah, comments and needed changes.
So technically, we have two approvals.
Yeah.
Benjamin, do you want to look at it, or is it
No,
okay?
I won't look at it. I'm removing myself from
The list?
reviews.
Okay.
What did I
Then
do?
we're go-
Did I already request changes?
Yeah, you did
request for
changes.
change. So that you only need to accept that, and then that's done.
Oh crap! All right, I did
You were
something
already
wrong.
in a discussion, so you just need to
You
either
cannot
accept it
remove
or-
yourself.
I don't see my comments anymore. Right, and the conversation is way too big. Well,
We don't have to do it now. Like maybe you need a bit of time to look at it. But
I'm gonna approve that. All right.
okay. Then we're gonna-
It's okay for you guys. I mean, yeah. Right. I'm going to approve.
This PR by Joseph, Joseph just needs to make a few changes. We'll ping him about that. Okay.
Didn't even know I was a reviewer on this.
Oh yeah, I've just I can push anything to his branch, and it's taking quite some time. I'm not that patient sometimes. I prefer pushing code instead of waiting for.
Yeah, and you already
so-
pinged him, right? So let's wait for this, right?
Mm.
This is 21 minutes ago, so let's give him some time to respond.
Yeah, next week we may fork that if necessary. And that's
Yeah,
fine.
we can always put it on a different branch, put the changes, and then merge it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, I introduced it now into Jemmy. It's
Okay.
going now through the whole Jemmy pipeline and see if
That
There's
one is on
something-
GCP, right?
and I think the error was also on Azure, but so an Azure should be checked as well, double checked.
Yeah, there's
So
just
for
a few
GCP, it's
issues.
now testing the whole thing because that's what our test does on GCP. So we only should check it manually now for on Azure.
Yeah.
For whoever wants to do that, and then
Yeah, this some context. There was a previous PR to start blocking the traffic to nets from any other process than the Bosch agents. But there were some subtle issues with that code that caused it to fail on other ISs, mainly GCP and AWS. code was reverted, and this is an attempt to reintroduce that change.
Guys, I need to leave you. See you later.
Okay. Bye. Thanks for joining.
See you, Roman.
Yeah, we have the VIP stem cell stuff. Still waiting on a refactor. I've asked about it yesterday. There's an there was a PR that I made to allow for building things like this, so stem cell build and then bionic dash VIPs, so that we can have a stem cell that is distinguishable as a VIP stem cell. So this PR just needs to be changed to use that code. So waiting for that. This PR seems not that active. Oh, related to.
Closed file inactivity. What's the diff?
I think a one-line change.
A one-liner.
Yeah. But it's hard to say what the effects are of this change because there's no test. And I don't have enough context to know that it is safe to do.
I believe he's from SAP in Bulgaria, so I can ping him to provide more context, I guess.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
test.
this change is difficult to merge
Yes.
this way and to review. That's why it's stuck. So it would be nice if you could do that. Shall I assign this to you?
Yeah, it's fine.
I will remove Kai and then put you.
Yep.
I also need to drop a seal.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Here, Rehan.
Bye.
Oh, Donatello hasn't come back to me. I should ping him.
Oh, he came. He contacted you on Slack?
No, not yet. He
Oh.
was to, but didn't.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Could you reach out to him maybe?
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, that's it. Let's see if we have any issues or new. Any activity since the 20th? No. Okay, I think that's it. Anybody has anything else you want to discuss?
I mean, regarding that Bosch DNS design for specific logging, I saw you answered again. Here, I guess if we can asynchronously settle on an interface for this at some point in time, which is probably not soon, but at some point in time we could then work on it. But as far as I understood it, it's now more or less clear what would need to be done, right?
Yeah, I thought the interface was clear. Yeah. I have talked with Kenneth about this, and he was he actually came up with the whole tuple thing. So
Yeah.
I think that's, and it's just, I think, a change to the configuration interface, right?
And of course, in the implementation, then you would need to
Yeah.
like have a specific logger somewhere which is injected or whatever. But yeah, most importantly, if we can settle on the interface and it's fine now, that then at some point in time we can pick it up.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Yeah. So I mean, this was the idea for the interface. I just
Yes.
tried to use the Bosch property spec format.
Yeah. Yeah, understood.
So yeah.
There was
So
another.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just mentioning another issue raised by Orange, but it has been closed for an activity by the state vote.
Okay.
And it was quite the same requirement to understand where from Bosch instances something is is resolving DNS names, not with appropriately, but
This one, right?
yeah. And I have answered them that I've questioned their requirements because the DNS resolver on the instances is actually only available for localhost, because the socket is only bound to localhost. So I mean, they are looking for the process responsible for issuing DNS request. Well, that's quite simple. It's a local process for sure.
Yeah, but I think they're probably wanting to know which app or something was responsible for it. Right, there can be multiple apps running on a host, and then you want to, I don't know, see if there's like a particular app that's causing way too much DNS traffic. I think that's probably their use case.
You mean within a cell?
Yeah, within a cell.
Possibly Diego cell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but they haven't answered. So.
But I think that type of logging would be something we could add with the same logging interface. I think that's right. It would just be a different type that you can configure at a certain level or a certain category, logging category. They would just have to. So once this PR has been refactored, they could create a PR and reuse some of the same patterns that were introduced here.
It's still not clear to me like how you would figure out the app, because it would still be the local IP all the time. Maybe a source port. Does it really help? But I'm not so deep into how the container reach out here. Good
question.
Yeah.
But for Orange, it depends on their context and what they are trying to debug exactly. So
I mean, Diego cells have their own IP range, right? With an overlay network and stuff. I don't know if that shows up. Maybe.
Yes, but the ports are forwarded to the VM, I guess, by Diego. So outside from the VM, what are we talking about?
It's a loopback.
Good question. Good question. Yeah. It's you're raising a good question.
Okay. If there's nothing else, then I think we can end this call early.
Well,
right. Thank you.
I would like to discuss the removal of Monit. What would it involve? Did you guys at VMware have any document on that, on your research on that, or any public pivotal tracker?
No, there's nothing public. No, we have a private tracker nowadays. I can try digging it up and send it out to you
Yeah.
via Slack.
Nice, right. You're not ready to share it publicly?
I mean,
Well,
publicly, I don't know in what format it is. I think it's just like a few notes from someone. So there's no like doc or something. So it just would require time.
All right.
And I, at this point, so the outcome of the research was basically that BPM is missing process management capabilities. So it would be a bigger effort to replace all that Monet does, right? So things like just HTTP health monitoring, that's something Monet can do. That's missing from BPM.
Yeah.
Bit monitoring is missing, like all those types of things are missing from BPM.
Right. Well, okay. Yeah, send it to me, and I'd be happy to put that in Google Docs and list more deeply the opportunity. Well,
Yeah,
dig a little bit in the opportunity.
I think that would be a great opportunity to create an RFC again, because that gives visibility to the TSC as well.
Okay. Okay, I'm not familiar with RFC, but I can have it.
No, that's what I like. It's this repo, right? And that's where they started this whole RFC process. There's a PR currently describing the RFC process, which is not merged yet, but they have like a whole process described here, with how it's all supposed to work. There's even a template for it. And they are now trying out the RFC process on, for example, this Jammy Jellyfish RFC. But like the removal of Monet would also be a concern that would like affect the ecosystem more broadly. It's not only Bosch, right? It's also all the releases that use it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's why I think this would be a good place to put it here.
Yeah, many releases are expecting money to be there to start and stop stuff.
Yeah. So.
All right. Good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.